guys, welcome back to Homeschool in Life. It's Lauren here this morning. As you can tell, it is morning and it is raining this morning. This is a summer morning and raining and cool, and so I just thought it would be the perfect day to record a little video. I'm going to sit here and I've been reading my Bible and studying and a little bit and praying this morning just to start off my day. And then I'm about to do a little bit of homeschool planning. And so this is going to be a very relaxed, as you can see. I haven't put makeup on. I haven't really got ready for the day or anything, but this was just the perfect time to film, and I think it's very realistic to life, very true to what a lot of us homeschool moms actually are doing. We're not always setting up the perfect, backdrop and all of those things, although I will say that for me, I really do enjoy a good ambiance, and so that's when I woke up and realized it was going to be a rainy, stormy morning, and my children would probably be sleeping in this morning, which they are. It's currently about 7:30 and they're still sleeping. And so I turned on some just calm jazz music. I do this often. This is very normal for me. And so I turned that on and I set up here and lit a few candles. Also something I love to do on rainy mornings, or especially in the fall and winter as it starts to cool off. So I have my setup here and I'm going to sit down and work on a little bit of planning and walk with you through some of the things that I do to prep for the new school year. And one of the main tips, tip number one, we'll say, is to start with prayer and keeping my focus on the Lord, because He's the reason I'm doing what I'm doing. He's the reason that I chose to homeschool my kids. We are Christians, we are believers, and so for us, this is our top priority, is giving our kids a great foundation in what we believe it to be true, what we believe is true, and that's the Bible. And so I wanted to, mentally and spiritually be in the right place as I'm going into the year planning. Now, I have planned some already. This is not my first sit down time to work on my homeschool planning, but it is just a great opportunity, to kind of show you and take you guys along with me as I do some just prep for the new year. We are going to be starting our school year in the next few weeks. I haven't nailed down exactly my start time. I usually like to start the very end of July, 1st of August. So that would be in about a week and a half for us if we go off that week. And so I really need to finalize some things and order some last few curriculum things before we start the year. So anyway, I'm glad you guys are joining me here this morning, and I hope this video is encouraging to you. I hope that you are enjoying our content here. And so let's jump right into this planning session. Okay, so this year, for my planner, I have decided to use this Happy Planner. I just wanted an all-in-one this year, something I could use for my daily planning plus homeschool planning. In our state, we're not required to keep lesson plans or anything like that. So this is more just for me, the convenience of what works best in my life. So I just picked up this planner from Hobby Lobby, and this is just the large Happy Planner. I wanted something. In the past, I have used undated planners and different things, and I actually, still own like some teacher planners, just that have the daily layouts and things like that. You never use up all the pages or different things, so if something happens, I get through the year and that doesn't this doesn't work exactly how I'm wanting it to, I could use that. But my plan this year is to use this along with notebooks for my older children specifically. Probably my 4 older kids. They will have their own notebooks, and I will just have a checklist for them to work off of on their, weekly, daily, however I feel it out. But for me, and I'm just going to flip over here. So I have, this is August, and I have first day of school written here because this is the first day of our local public schools. This is the first day they go back to school. So for my son who participates in athletics there, I just wanted to, have that written down. I'm leaning more towards us starting back to school this week, which would be the very end of July, the 1st of August. And if not this week, then we will start this week, which will be August 5th. So I'm just kind of probably going to finalize that in the next few days. But anyway, this is just the monthly layout. I'm trying to show y'all here. The lighting is real low, but that's what I like right now while I'm working. And then, so I will just use this for like appointments, dates, different things. I haven't filled out very much in this month yet, just my son's birthday and just things going on. And then here is the week. So this is why I think this planner is going to work for me this year. It just has a great layout here. I'm leaning towards using these boxes above for our family subjects. So like anything we're doing that I would be teaching and needing to use these for would be where I would put that. And then this would just be anything else I need to write down for school or a running to-do list for the day. I think this is large enough for both things. So I can just keep up with anything, so if I need to send an email or something, a return I need to make, whatever I write down. Sometimes I'll write down home tasks that need to be done. And then over on this side, I can either have a running to-do list for the week, and then I'm thinking like my menu plan on this side. So I think this is going to work, and that's pretty much the layout all the way through. The only thing this planner doesn't have is a lot of extra note pages. I believe, I was going to show you the beginning of the month. Yeah, let's vote. Okay, so it does have this layout. Yes, okay. So at the beginning of each month, it has this layout. So like top priority. So this is great for like goal setting and things like that at the beginning of the month. Important things to remember this month maybe. And then it has this note section, which I think is plenty just for planning, anything I want to plan for school here, anything, I want to take notes or anything like that. This is plenty of room for that. And that's at the beginning of every month, the new month layout. That's there. And then the last page does have a notes page. So yeah, it's literally just the last page. But for me, that's not as big of a deal because I have a running notebook at all times. This is why I call this my life dump. So this is where I do my brain dumps. I have planned in here before, even made running to-do list. I have sermon notes, just things like that. So I just carry this notebook with me everywhere. And if I need to, I kind of treat it like my, sometimes I'll make notes in my phone, but if I don't do that, I just jot them down here. So between this and this, I think this is the perfect solution. I'll still have my calendar, so I don't have to I have wrote out calendars in the past in the front here, but that's just some extra work that I didn't want to have to do. So, and this is great for the lesson planning. And then this is just my brain dump and my notebooks, and I can transfer anything that I write down that needs to go in here into here. So that is the plan. And so I'm going to show you some things that I'm planning for school now. Okay, so this is how I have started off my planning for the year. So I just, and I forgot to put my son, he's going into ninth grade, but I put my child and their grade they're going into, and then I just listed the different subjects we're going to be doing, and then I filled in what I think or plan on using for the new school year. I've also listed a few of the credits that they've already earned. This was from my daughter's. Here's like her credits from last year. So just so my mind is thinking, I have this written down in another like transcript style on my computer, for their high school things. So anyway, this is just where I'm brain dumping their subjects and what I believe we're going to do this year. Amanda and I have plans to get together here in a few days and plan out some other things, buy some curriculum together possibly, and plan our co-op and different things. So some of these are tentative to what we decide we might be doing together or changing, but I just know these are a few things, and then I will probably fill in a few other electives as I make some final decisions for them. And then over here, let me close this, I have my rising sixth grader. And so I just kind of was writing down, this was a list of books that I had found that I may have him read this year and walk through. These are just some of his possible, curriculum choices for this year. So this is the beginning stage. This is when this would be what I would call like brain dump planning. So just trying to decide on a few things, and then when I finalize them all, I will just, fill all that in here with the different curriculums. And I might even rewrite them. Sometimes, this is just quick and I decide I want it more organized and such. So this is the way I have been planning for the last few weeks. Okay, so a few other things that I'm going to be doing while I'm planning is I like to go on a few different websites. I really like Sunlight and their book list. We have used, and I have a few of their guides. I actually have, well, not this particular guide. I believe I have the B and C. I forget what they call them now, but their years. Here it is, like their history, Bible, literature units or curriculum. And so I have the world history, I think it's B and C together here. I own the guide to that. It's just things I've found used through the years. And then I also believe we have G, so the world history G. So that's what I've pulled up here. I could go get my guides out, but this is just as easy. I pull up what's included, and then I usually will look through the different book list. Let me get this off the screen. Okay. And then I'll just look through their book list. And we went through this particular unit with my older kids, but my younger ones weren't really old enough yet to be going through or probably picking up on a lot. So we will be doing things separately yet together. My older kids need to have a world history credit, so we're going to probably work on that this year and next year for their high school credit. And so I always like to study similar things. I think it's just easier if we're studying the same thing as a family to go through things like that. So I'm just walking through and looking at all the different books. And this isn't the only book list that I'll look at. I'll look at different ones. Maybe I know Peaceful Press has good book list. We like Guest Hollow that is another website. I'll go look through all of there, and they even share like movie recommendations and different things like that and give you reviews. So we have a lot of these books already. So when I say I'm looking through their book list just to remember to jog my memory of different books, and these are like their so that's all the different things. These are their readers for, so this grade would be where my youngest maybe is, not my older ones. But I just take their read aloud suggestions and their readers, and I just pick and choose maybe what I'm reading aloud and what I just hand to them and let them read on their own. So I'm going to look through that one. And then this is G. So this would be my middle school kids, the books I would be giving to them. So I'd also go to what's included, and then it would show me, okay? It would show me just the different books, and we have definitely went through Story of the World as a family. My older ones, I also own the first 2 volumes of Mystery of History, and that's what I'm leaning towards a little bit for them for history this year. That would be something they would just use on their own and read through. So for my younger ones, we may use that as well, but I am very much a believer in the literature-based learning, and we're very eclectic, so somewhere in the middle between Charlotte Mason and classical and those things. So, but I like to make my own. I tend to never follow a curriculum completely. So that's why I just look through here and see what we have read, what we haven't, possibly what they would remember. So these are just a few of the different books. And I'll just take these and I'll write them down on my list for each kid, kind of like I did. This book list was actually one that I was sharing with you. I believe this is the book list for classical conversations. They challenge a book list. So this would be, if you were in classical conversations, this is what you would read. What would be your 7th grade year? And this, so my son is going into the, 6th, 7th grade. We're a little loose with grades, but this was just a good list. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm just trying to, finalize some of our history read alouds, reading, and what I will have them probably read and narrate or write reports on this year. So one of the next things I'm going to do is, so if this is just tentative, I'm just kind of showing you my process. We may or may not use the Story of the World as our spine for history this year. I am leaning towards using this for my younger ones, but my older ones may use Mystery of History like I said, but I actually have that somewhere else. So I just pulled this one out really quickly, and I'm just going to pull up. What I would do is I'm just going to look through the contents, table of contents, and I'm going to look through the chapters, decide if we're going to read this book all the way through, which we most likely will, especially with my younger one because he hasn't walked through it yet. And then I'm going to look at how many chapters there are. And Story of the World is pretty consistent with about 40 chapters, 42, somewhere in there. And so once I decide how far I want to get into world history, which I will say Story of the World goes through it a little bit faster than Mystery of History. So they would spend a little more time on Bible. There's a lot more what I would consider biblical times and walking through different people out of the Bible, where they don't spend quite as much time in that in Story of the World. But it's going to end at the fall of Rome, the end of Rome. And so that's, a good chunk of the way through world history. And then you would pick back up possibly next year and go through your Middle Ages to my goal for world history, since we just studied American history / world history, is to mostly get just to the American Revolution, and then maybe jump into Europe a little bit, what was going on there, the French Revolution and different things. So I would just decide what we're going to do probably over the next few years. on world history. And then I'm just going to break these down and decide, okay, we do a like 34 to 36 week school year. So how many chapters would I need to read to get through that? Usually that averages to, so I have a few kids joining me now that are waking up, but anyway, I would just decide on how many of these we're going to read through, and that's when I would just write that down. Like I need to do about 2 chapters a week at the most. Some weeks, you're probably only going to get to 1 because these chapters are broken up into sections, and some of them are really long. So 1 to 2 chapters a week would be plenty. And then as the year goes on, then I'll plan. I tend to plan, for like a month at a time, like different things, different projects we might do, which that gets into our co-op planning because we do a lot of our history. Amanda and I do it together through co-op. And so I'm just going to look through there, decide on what read alouds I want to read at that time, decide on what kids I want my kids reading at that time, and then just make lists and fill them in as I go throughout the year, what we would be doing then. And then the next thing I will be planning out is our science. So my high schoolers, I'm almost 99% sure that they're going to be doing biology and most likely with apologia. So that's what I'm looking at. I'm just trying to decide and finalize and order. I would be ordering this. And so we're leaning towards apologia, and most likely I would use their I will get their textbook. I might do the video classes, but I'm not 100% sure yet. So we will do that, and we're also going to do the labs. So here's the video instructions, like on a thumb drive. That's probably what I'm thinking we may do. And then maybe, of course, the student notebook. My daughter used the student notebook for the health and nutrition, and she really enjoyed it. So I would use that along with the textbook. And these are their self-paced classes. So anyway, this is what I'm doing. I'm researching, trying to decide what I need to order and get all this. And then we most likely, like I said, we're going to be doing the labs. And so I will need to order the lab kit as well. And my older two, my daughter, 10th grader, my son, 9th grader, are going to be doing this together. And so just making the final decisions on that curriculum for the year. And I would like to, so here's another thing I would do is, since I haven't ordered it yet and I don't have it, I could do this after I order it, but I would pull up this and then I would do the look inside and then see if it has the table of contents. Yes, it does. So see how many modules, they do theirs by modules, and I would pull it up and I would look to see how many modules they're going to go through this year, which would be like chapters. And the nice thing about the notebook that comes with it. So if you go back out here, this usually has a lesson plan in it for you, I believe. So we usually just go off of that. My daughter did this last year with her Apologia Health and Nutrition class. So sorry, I'm a little distracted. I was trying to get through it. It's got the table of contents. So I guess this is just the table of contents for the actual textbook. So this is what I would look through and kind of see how long it's going to take us to get through it, and then how many days a week they would need to do science. For my middle schooler this year, I'm leaning towards using this general science from Master Books. My olders will be doing science on their own. I will be there to help and guide them, but between them doing it together, I think that'll be a really good thing. So I'm just looking into this, like I said, tentatively planning. My 6th, 7th graders, I could start this year, maybe not finish it, but they have a general science 1 and a general science 2. My older ones did this and they really enjoyed it. And so we have this whole curriculum, but particularly my one son, we've been doing science by units. And so this kind of has that same feel and style. And he asked to do weather first this year. So like I said, Amanda and I will plan out our co-op and plan a lot of our science and history together, but this is one request that my son had. And even though we might be studying the same things, sometimes we're using the exact same curriculum. We've used The Good and the Beautiful. We've used master books or the God's Design series and different things for the elementary years together. We have walked through a lot of those units together. And so even we're usually studying the same topic, whether we're using the same curriculum or not. But I have been looking at this one, and then the Good and the Beautiful usually has units that go along. They have a weather and water unit that I could use with my younger two, or I could just use this and, just walk through it with them. I could read this to them, where my other son, middle schooler, may be reading it himself. We may be doing it together. I'm not finalized that, but this is just a whole book on weather, and it walks through. I can show just the table of content real quick. And, here it is. Okay. So it walks through what God created, what causes Earth's weather, water in the atmosphere. So it does study water too. Thunderstorms, dangerous thunderstorms, hurricanes, winter storm, wild weather, and so on. You can see climate and different things. So I would just use this to base off and plan my unit. Just to give you an example as well of, this is the God's Design series. Our weather and water. So I already own this one as well. And that is a running theme this year in our homeschool, is to use what we have already. I have collected a lot of curriculum over the years, and we have a lot of the things we need. And so for my younger kids, I really want to just focus on using what we have. So this is the table of content. You would just walk through. So it's struggling to focus. It's a little dark in here. The lessons. It has about 35 lessons, and then just plan how long that would take you to do the unit. So that's what I'm leaning, is just pulling from a lot of the units I already own and using them, because I will be investing a little bit more, like I said, in my older kids, in their science this year, because we're doing high school. So, and I will be buying a lot of their curriculum because it's new, and it's, we don't own it already because we haven't done that level of high school yet. So that is what I think we will be doing. So I would just, in my planning time here, to get back to the focus of this video, in my planning time, I'm just looking through all my resources. And as you can see, these are mostly read alouds, but over here in this corner, I have like a whole, they're overflowing. Multiple shelves of history, science, things about art, literature, poetry. I'm just glancing over and looking at all the different things. Lots and lots of resource books. I'm looking over here behind me. I have another shelf. I'm gonna have to show y'all my homeschool room. We'll do maybe another video coming up too, and just let you glance at it. But like the anatomy books, farm anatomy, nature anatomy, those things. Though a lot of nature studies style books. And I have like this book. This is the North American Wildlife Guide. And it's just a really cool book. It's available, but I thrifted this one. But this would be something, and we would draw and do nature study. This is my plan for my younger guys this year for their science. More than, we'll do the units that my son's doing and things, but I also really want to incorporate a lot of this nature study for them, for my, excuse me, for my first, second grader and for my fourth grader. So we'll have our nature journaling notebooks and all of those things, and we'll walk through some of these books. Like I said, I'll probably show you in more detail some of those things, but I'm just looking through my resources, trying to decide what would be best for this next year. And just to give you a basic example of what our schedule for the year would look like I kind of always start the year with just, you know, a daily schedule. Days are going to look differently on different days because of co-op or doctor's appointments or things like that. But we try to keep this as our, you know, the base of what we work off of, and then just, you know, change and adapt if we need to. So this is kind of the same thing we did last year. It was working pretty well. So we, minus, which I'll share, sometimes the group subjects might have got moved to the afternoon or adjusted depending on our day. But start around 8:30 or 9, which I shared. If we get going a little bit earlier, that's great. If not, that's fine too. And that would be Bible study and breakfast time. Usually we would stop here and do chores and stuff, but I think this year I'm just going to have everybody just, you know, get dressed for the day or whatever if they haven't yet, and then move on with our day then. And then we would do our morning time and our group subjects, independent work, lunch break, and then chores. So like their daily chores, I think around lunchtime we could make that work. This is tentative, it may change, we'll just kind of see how it works. But stopping, I think if we could just get going with our day and not spend a ton of time doing chores, like they could start their morning doing anything that's necessary before this to get done, teeth brush, dress, things like that. That's fine. And even if they get up earlier, some of my kids are motivated to even do some of their independent work earlier, especially if they know we have a busy day or they've got a busy day ahead of them, like getting their math done or something like that before we start our things together as a family. But, you know, that's not always the case. But lunch break and chores here, finish up work or work with my big kids, you know, on like if they need help with a lab or something that day, or, you know, questions, whatever they need help with, I would kind of block off time for them. And then my son will have to head to practice. That's what we end around 2:33. He has to leave a little bit before this, but my other kids are like wrapping things up, whether that be chores they haven't finished, and then he's headed to practice, and then free time for the other kids for a little while. And then I'll usually drop him off, come back and do you know, dinner prep or anything like that. If we have practices that night, we'll get ready to leave for go to the evening practices, and you know, just work out there. Sometimes I work out during this time or do different things, but this is the tentative schedule, and this is what I try to have in my mind at the beginning of the year when we're first starting, so I have something to work off of. Whether that changes or not, it might, but it's good to have a plan. It's always good to have a plan. That is it. That is how I plan our homeschool out for the year. I'm more of probably a reverse planner in that I will jot down and write down what we do as we do it in that sense. But I like to have an overall plan for the whole year. And then every week I will plan out things we are going to do for that week, whether that be, you know, experiments or different things like that. I'll definitely have to be a little more on top of it this year with high schoolers and having to plan labs and having, my plan is to buy the kits, so I will have them here, but just making sure that it's ready to go for the week, and filling out their planners. I haven't fully decided yet if I'm going to do checklists specifically for my older ones that stay the same every week, because of the nature of with high school. It's not going to change a whole lot, so I may make checklists for them this year that are just printed off and ready to go for the year that they could just kind of work off of. And or if I'll work out of our notebook planners and things like that, where we just fill out them weekly. So that's what I'm thinking, and then I'll sit down and plan out, you know, if things change quarterly. That's usually when I'll take some time to plan what we're gonna do, you know, the next unit or something like that, because we usually do science quarterly, so that might be something I plan out like that. And then about halfway through the year, of course, it's semester, which after the second quarter, you kind of reevaluate and see how things are going, and things might change a little bit then, and I'm sure we'll put out another video or something like that when that time comes. But thank you guys for joining me today. I hope this video was helpful and informative, and
If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. We would love to have you here in this community. Leave us a comment below and let us know what you're enjoying about our channel, if there's anything you would like us to make a video on, and we will see you here again soon. Bye guys.